This is Late Night Help. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. Hi, I'm Mark Alyn, and during the next 2 hours, along with the insane Daryl Wayne, we're going to cover a wide variety of topics, from coffee and pain to taking a look at the power of KM during our second hour. Also, Dave Foreman, the herbal pharmacist, will be rejoining us today. But we have a very special first part of our show. There's a book out. It's called The Book of Joy. It's by His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. The moderator for the book, if you will, is Douglas Abrams. Doug is on our phone line right now. Doug, welcome to Late Night Health.
Great to be with you.
I'm really curious about something, and that is, before we talk about the book, I know you've worked with and have written with Desmond Tutu in the past, but talking and spending a week with these two guys has got to be one of the thrills of your life. Tell us about that week.
Yeah, it really was mind-blowing and heart-expanding. It was definitely one of the great joys of my life, up there with marrying my wife and having my kids. It was actually so surprising because we knew it was going to be a really profound and inspiring week, but we had no idea how much fun it was going to be and how funny these guys were going to be together. They call each other their mischievous spiritual brother, and they are as much of a comedy duo as they are these two revered spiritual teachers. And the whole week they were laughing and hugging and making jokes and teasing one another. It was really amazing to witness how much fun they were having and how much fun it was to be with them.
There is one line that bothers me. Okay, and
what's that?
And that is
only one.
Only one. And the line was, "This may be the last time they get together." Why?
Yeah. Well, it was. We were very aware of mortality, and while we were there, because both of the men are in their 80s now. It was the 80th birthday of the Dalai Lama, and Archbishop Tutu is now 86. And unfortunately, the Dalai Lama is not allowed to travel to South Africa because of pressure from the Chinese government on the South African government. And Archbishop Tutu is not allowed to travel outside of South Africa because of the return of his prostate cancer, and his health is frail. And so we knew that we had this very rare moment in time where the doctors would let Archbishop Tutu travel, and we knew we would have this moment for them to be together, this one precious week. And we hoped that they will get to be together again, but we knew that it might not be. So we were very conscious of making every minute count.
And just for them, there's FaceTime on iPhones. I mean,
yes, that is not maybe the last time that they can FaceTime with each other, but probably the last time they will be physically together, and certainly getting to spend a week together.
Well, let's jump into it. This is a New York Times best-selling book, and we're very honored to have been allowed to talk with Doug Abrams. You know, lasting happiness in a changing world. That's the subtitle of the Book of Joy. Is there a difference between joy and happiness? I know that the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu have put together a kind of a description of that, and I'd appreciate it if you would share that ideology.
Sure. So I think what most people talk about, or what the Dalai Lama is often talking about when he says, about our need to cultivate happiness, he really is talking about joy. So what they explain to us is that so many people think of happiness, and what they really think about is that it's dependent on them getting that car or finding that life partner or getting a different job. And it's like, I'm going to be happy when I have X. And what they explain to us is that what joy is it's happiness without conditions. It's joy from the inside. It's joy that we can access and choose no matter what is happening in our life, which doesn't mean we're not going to experience sadness. It doesn't mean we're not going to experience anger or fear. but it means that we have an ability to choose our life in a way that so many of us forget that we have that ability, and we feel like we're kind of victims of life and circumstance. And, when we're eating a nice piece of chocolate cake or listening to a good song, then we can be joyful, but then it's gone. And what we wanted them to show us was, how do you take something that is often seen as a fleeting emotional state, like joy, and turn it into how they live, which is joy as an enduring character trait.
Joy is also equivalent to chocolate. I think you got that one right. External or internal, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't mean that chocolate can't bring joy, but it means that the joy is not dependent on the chocolate. I mean, I think you may remember there's this fun story in the book about when I asked the Dalai Lama about the difference between joy and pleasure, and whether he had renounced pleasure in his life because he's a Buddhist monk, and he, kind of teasingly, mischievously said, "You mean sex?" The Dalai Lama and Archbishop Tutu turned to the Dalai Lama and said, "Did you just say that?" And he turns back and says, "Yes, sex." And as far as I know, the Dalai Lama, as a Buddhist monk, has renounced sex, but that doesn't mean he's renounced all pleasure. And when we were sitting next to each other at lunch, he turned to me with this wonderful, delicious bowl of Tibetan rice pudding, and he said, "I love this." So it doesn't mean that a good bowl of Tibetan rice pudding or a good bar of chocolate doesn't lead to joy, but the point is that it's not that what they called physical happiness is not really the enduring happiness. It's really the mental happiness which is the enduring happiness.
Now, joy is something that is individual. Your joy may be completely different than my joy, which is different than the other billions of people here on planet Earth. Can we each have joy? Can we achieve joy easily?
Well, what they explain to us is that, yes, you may like carrot cake and I like chocolate cake. Those kinds of joys are different. But fundamentally, the most profound joys are the same. And actually, what gives us the greatest joy is our relationships with one another and bringing joy to other people. And that, they said, is universal. That's for all humans. That's different. You may like, you may say like one food and I like another food, but that's a kind of superficial joy. But at the deeper level of true joy, what they call true joy, that is really a fundamental human similarity that we share.
In the Constitution, it says something about the pursuit of happiness, right?
Yes.
And are we pursuing joy or are we pursuing happiness? In general,
what they explained is that actually the pursuit of happiness is the fastest way to miss the bus. That actually you can't chase after joy or happiness, but that if you cultivate what they call these 8 pillars of joy, then joy is a natural byproduct of those pillars, of those qualities that we cultivate in our life.
One of the things that really impressed me about the book of Joy, is that not only is there a book and the story that you tell, but there's a workbook to help people achieve joy, and that is brilliant.
Well, thank you. I mean, what happened was we included 50 pages in the book of their daily joy practices, the spiritual practices, the meditation, the prayers that are the kind of anchors of their lives and help them be the people that they are. And so for the first time, we were able to share that with the world, which was quite amazing. And what we found was people were having such a powerful experience from the book, and they were telling us that from just reading the book and hearing the stories and doing the practices had helped them deal with chronic pain or life-threatening illnesses or the loss of loved ones. We heard it had stopped readers from committing suicide. The book had been given by people who were dying as their final gift to their family and friends. So it was clearly having a deep impact on people's lives. And the journal was the attempt to give people, as you said, a workbook, an opportunity for them to take the messages and the insights and the values in the Book of Joy and have their own journey to joy, to explore how they can experience more joy and to kind of share the real challenges that they face and how they are learning to deal with them.
There are several photographs on the jacket of the book that I want to talk about. There's one, you look like you're 7 feet tall. That's on the inside jacket.
Only 6'6".
Only 6'6", and these guys are shorter, but it's such a fun. The look on the Dalai Lama's face is so joyful.
Yeah, that was a really fun picture. That's the author picture for the book, and they're each on one side of me, and I do tower over them both, probably both because they're in their 80s, and I'm this obscenely tall
I wouldn't say obscenely tall. Very good looking guy, and your wife is very lucky. We're going to take a time out. We're going to take a time out. I want to also talk about the book on the picture on the back of the jacket where Desmond Tutu actually got the Dalai Lama to kind of do a little bit of a boogie woogie. We'll talk about that and joy as we continue here on Late Night Health. Join us at latenighthealth.com, latenighthealth.com, and facebook.com/Late Night Health Radio. Douglas Abrams and I will be back as Late Night Health continues.
Welcome to Guide to the Soul. This is Robert Clancy. Opening your heart is the only way to allow all the light in. Unconditional love does exist, but it takes trust, something not a lot of people are willing to give. But how can you expect it if you don't provide it too? All hearts are refillable, rechargeable, and renewable. So why worry about being burned? By giving, you have everything to gain. Think of how beautiful your life would be if someone loved you without barriers, gave all of their heart to you without conditions, and wrapped their soul around you like it was your last day on earth. Today, you can be that person for someone else.
For more inspiration from Robert Clancy, visit guidetothesoul.com or go to the Moments with Robert page on latenighthealth.com.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate a lower tax bill. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will fight for you using industry secrets that can stop any IRS actions, eliminate penalties and interest, and reduce your past tax bill so you pay the IRS less. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the Tax Doctor now for a free IRS audit emergency review.
800-663-5107. 800-663-5107. 800-663-5107. That's 800-663-5107.